Good morning, this is Harika. In this lecture, we'll see about the feedback amplifiers. So, in the last lectures, we'll see the multi-stage amplifiers and their analysis of the multi-stage amplifiers by using small signal low frequency analysis. Now, we'll go with the feedback amplifiers. So this is the learning objectives of your feedback amplifiers. So we'll see that what is the need of your feedback, and next we'll see that the different types of feedback amplifiers, and we can go with a classify of amplifiers, and for especially we can discuss about the negative feedback amplifiers in this concept. And to increase that impedances, so what are the techniques we had used in the feedback amplifiers, we will see. So explain the remedy of impedance in the BJT, and next we'll see the we can discuss about the characteristics of the negative feedback amplifiers, and finally we will see the advantages of feedback amplifier. First of all, we'll go with what is a feedback amplifier. The amplifier in which a part of output is sampled and feedback to the input of the amplifier is called the feedback amplifier. So in other words, at input we have the two signals, so input signal and a part of the output which is feedback to the input. So why we have to use the feedback? In large signal amplifiers and electronic measuring instruments, the major problem of distortion should be avoided as far as possible. So by using your feedback, we can eliminate the distortion problems in the amplifier circuits. And the gain must be independent of the external factors such as variations in the voltage of the DC supply and of the values of the circuit components. All these can be achieved by feedback. To connect output part to the input, so we require some feedback network. So that is nothing but a portion of the output signal is given to the input through a feedback network. So we are having the two types of your feedbacks, negative feedback and positive feedback. So let us see, this is the basic block diagram of your feedback amplifiers. So in this block diagram, we are representing first a mixer, a signal source. So and next one we have the mixer network and basic amplifier, and next one the sampler. So that is used to collect some portion of the output, and what is your taken from the sampler, that is connected to the feedback network. This is your feedback network, and the output coming from your feedback again connected to your mixer network. So here in the positive feedback, so when the feedback signal is in phase with the input signal and thus adds, it is known as a positive feedback or regenerative or direct feedback. The positive feedback increases the gain of the amplifier. Positive feedback increases in noise and distortion and poor stability. So in the feedback, so in the positive feedback, the input signal what you are applying. So for example, let us take here is a sinusoid signal, and the feedback signal what you are coming from this feedback network. So that is also in phase with the input signal, because both are in the same phase. Such a type of a feedback is called the positive feedback. Negative feedback. So when the feedback signal is 180 degrees out of phase with the input signal, and this possesses it is known as a negative feedback, and also known as a degenerative or reverse feedback. Means here that input signal and the feedback signal is in the 180 degrees of a phase shift. So here is a sinusoid signal at your input, and the feedback signal is like this, that is the 180 degrees of a phase shift. So this type of this input signal, and here the feedback signal is in the 180 degrees of a phase shift. So such a feedback is called negative feedback. So the negative feedback decreases the gain of the amplifier. So and the negative feedback improves the stability of the gain. So it is having the advantages, the stability in the gain is increases. So and we are also having the other important characteristics of your negative feedback. So next one is that, so the negative feedback is decreases the noise distortions. Okay, noise level and your distortion is decreased. The negative feedback elements are the passive, that is resistors, inductors and the capacitors. So in the negative feedback amplifiers, the feedback network should be purely resistive, Whereas in the positive feedback, the feedback network should be the reactive elements, that is the inductors and the capacitors. So now we will see the mainly about your negative feedback amplifiers. So in the negative feedback amplifier, so the feedback network is consist of the resistive elements. First of all, we'll go with the basic amplifiers, that is the classification of amplifiers. So this is the basic block in your feedback amplifiers. So not only that, in the all the amplifiers, so that amplification is maybe in the voltage or the current, or maybe if you give the input is the voltage and the output amplifier signal, maybe if you want the current. So based upon that input and output requirement, the basic amplifiers we can hear 4 types, that is voltage amplifier, current amplifier, transconductance amplifier and transresistance amplifier. So not only this one, so based on the magnitudes of the input and output impedances of an amplifier relative to the source and the load impedances, these were also divided into 4 categories based upon the magnitudes, so of the input source and again the output load. So the voltage, current, transconductance and the transresistance. First we'll see the voltage amplifier. What is an voltage amplifier? Voltage amplifier amplifies the voltage signal. It takes voltage as the input and provides voltage as the output. So this figure shows the Thevenin's equivalent of the voltage amplifier. So here this is the source signal is a Vs and this is source resistance is Rs, and here this is the input impedance of your amplifier. So this dotted boxes represents the basic replacement of your voltage amplifiers in the Thevenin's equivalent. So and here that output portion is replaced with an voltage source, that is your voltage gain into input voltage is the Vi and output impedance is the R0, and the output we are taking across your load resistance. So in the Thevenin's equivalent circuit of the voltage amplifier, so that Ri is greater than your Rs. So if this condition is satisfied, then only the source Vs is equal to the Vi. So and if the external load RL is too large compared to the output resistance, so the RL is must be the large compared with the output resistance. So that is your R0 is less than RL. Then we'll get your V0 across your load resistor. So across this load resistor, we'll get your V0 is equal to A into Vi. This amplifier provides a voltage output proportional to the voltage input, and the proportionality factor becomes independent of the source and the load resistance. Such a circuit is called voltage amplifier. Now we see that how these conditions are the satisfied. The Ra is greater than Rs and RL is greater than R0. So let us consider, so the Ra is large compared with the source resistance, then the voltage across your Ri. So the voltage across your Ri is the Vi. So from voltage division rule, then we can write it as Vi equal to, so Vi equal to, so the total source which we are applying is the Vs, and the across we are calculating the Ri by total resistance, that is nothing but your Rs plus Ri. And if the condition that we are taking that in the voltage amplifier, if the Ri is greater than your Rs, so then this Rs plus Ri, so that is nearly equal to the Ra, then we can get your Vi. This is replaced with the Ri, so Ri is a cancel, then your Vi is equal to the Vs. And similarly, if the RL is large compared with the R0, then the voltage drop across your RL, we can write it as V0 is equal to, so here also we can apply the voltage division rule. So V0 across your RL. So the total voltage source applied this one. So that is nothing but your AV into VI. So we are calculating across your load resistor. So that is your RL by your total resistance in the output side. So that is your R0 plus your RL. So in this case also we are taking, so that load RL must be the large. So it is the large. So R0 plus RL is nearly equal to the RL. So this is replaced with RL. So RL is a cancel. Then we will get your V0 equal to the AV into the VI. So like this, your V0 equal to the A into VI. And here the VI is also equal to the Vs, the source. What is derived here? So that is V0 is nearly equal to the A into VI. So where A is nothing but your proportionality constant, that is a gain. So then we can write the output voltage V0 is directly proportional to the Vs. So it is called as a voltage amplifier. And for ideal conditions, that Ri is infinity and R0 is a 0 and voltage gain is also infinity for the voltage amplifier. Next we see the another basic amplifier is a current amplifier. The current amplifier amplifies the current signal. It takes the current as an input and produces current as an output. And this figure shows the Norton's equivalent circuit of a current amplifier. So that this is the Norton's equivalent circuit. And in this case, that input resistance of the amplifier, that is Ri is less than Rs. So then only your II, that is flowing through your Ri, is equal to the Is. So here just we can apply your current division rule here. So when applying the current division rule, then we'll get here. So II, so this is your current is the II is equal to II equal to the Is Rs. So here we apply the current division rule at this input side, then we can write your II, that is the current flowing through your input resistance is a II. So that is equal to the total current source we are applying here is the Is. So that Rs is opposite resistance by your total resistance is the Rs plus your Ri. And here then if you consider that is Ri is less than Rs, so that is Ri is less than Rs, then we can calculate Ri is less than Rs, then this Rs plus Ri is equal to the Rs. So then we'll get these two terms is cancelled, then your II is equal to the Is. And if amplifier output resistance, that is your R0 is greater than your RL, then the current flowing through your load resistance RL, that we can write again the current division rule. So RIL equal to total source, here is a AI into your II. So here the resistance is your R0 by total resistance is a R0 plus your RL. So here in this case that your R0 is greater than your RL, so that this is R0 plus RL is replaced with your R0. So R0 is a cancel. So IL is equal to the AI. So this is like this, and that input resistance should be very small compared with to Rs to reach the total source current to the input amplifier. That is your Is is nearly equal to the II. So therefore your IL is equal to AI into II. AI is the current gain of the amplifier and your IL is directly proportional to the Is. So that is AI is a proportionality constant. Hence it is a current amplifier. So for ideal current amplifier, Ri equal to the 0 and R0 equal to the infinity. So therefore an amplifier which provides an output current proportional to the signal current and the proportionality factor is independent of the Rs and your RL. So then that amplifier is called as a current amplifier. Next we'll go with the transconductance amplifier. So the transconductance amplifier supplies an output current which is proportional to the signal voltage and it is independent of the magnitudes of your source resistance Rs and the load resistance is a RL. So converts voltage signal into the current signal. That means it is amplifies say a voltage signal into your current signal. So this circuit is represents the Thevenin's equivalent circuit here at the input side and a Norton's equivalent circuit at the output side. So in this transconductance amplifier, the signal source, so that is a Vs equal to the voltage drop across your Ri Vi. Then if it is satisfied, the condition is that Ri is greater than Rs and also that output current IL is equal to the current source in the output side, current source in the amplifier if R0 is greater than RL. So therefore this amplifier must have an infinite input resistance and the infinite output resistance for ideal condition. If R0 is greater than RL, in order to get the maximum current across your RL, so IL is nearly equal to the Gm into Vi. So IL is directly proportional to the Vs. So it is called the transconductance amplifier. So in this transconductance amplifier, to get your voltage across your RA, that is a Vi, we have to apply the voltage division rule, and similarly to get your IL, so across your load resistor, the current flowing through the load resistor, we have to apply the current division rule. So then we will get these relations. So IL is directly proportional to the Vs, and you have to remember that the ideal conditions of your transconductance amplifier, Ra and your R0, both are is infinity. Next we will see the trans resistance amplifier. The trans resistor amplifier takes a current as an input and produces voltage as output, converts input current into an output voltage signal. So this is equivalent circuit of the trans resistance amplifier, represented by a Norton's equivalent circuit at the input and the Thevenin's equivalent circuit at the output. So in the trans resistance amplifier, that Ra is less than Rs, then only your II equal to the Is, and if your R0 less than RL, then your V0 is directly proportional to the Rm into II. Ra is less than Rs in order to get the maximum current at your Ri, and your R0 is less than RL in order to get the voltage across your R0. So that is your V0 is directly equal to the Rm into II. So V0 is directly proportional to the Is. Hence it is trans resistance amplifier, and for the ideal conditions of your trans resistance amplifier is Ra equal to the 0, R0 equal to 0. So these are the four basic amplifiers we are using, we are discussed here. So voltage amplifier, current amplifier, transconductance, and the trans resistance amplifiers. Okay, thank you. Remaining we'll see in the next video.